Jelly Roll never ran away from a fight. His journey from going to jail as a teen to becoming one of the biggest rising stars in country music has been anything but normal. His wife Bunny XO has been with him for a lot of it. She is strong, loud, and very loving. They have talked about their past, their pain, and how they have grown together. In talks, podcasts, and on social media, they often share the most honest parts of their lives with the public. Then though, something did change. A post showed up, a video played, and then the smiles went away. Bunny fought back tears and her Jelly Roll was less outgoing than usual. As a joke, they brought up something very important that had shocked them, a diagnosis. But who did it, and how bad was it? The couple has always been strong. What on earth could have brought them to this place? With a rough start, he became a country music star. Jared Defford, better known as Jelly Roll, was born and raised in the Tennessee neighborhood of Antioch. He had a hard time. Yet Jelly Roll initially fell in love with hip-hop, being inspired by southern rap legends such as 36 Mafia and UGK. He began small, selling mixtapes out of his automobile. His beginnings included The Plain Schmear Tape and Gambling on the White Boy, a series of mixtapes. A track, Pop Another Pill 2010 collab with Lil Wyte, got more than 6 million hits on YouTube. That energy propelled the ES No Hip Hop group and year-round album into life. He continued to release mixtapes and worked with artists such as Struggle Jennings, Haystack, and Tech Nan 9N. In 2013, he released one of his mixtapes originally named Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House, but was forced to retitle it after the restaurant threatened to sue him. He gave it a new name, Whiskey, Weed, and Women. Instead of the Waffle House sign, he put a cease and desist sticker on the cover. Over time, Jelly Roll turned into country and rock songs. Then in 2021, he made his start at the famous Grand Ole Opry. Then in 2022, his hit song Dead Man Walking went to #1 on rock radio. In the fall of that year, he put out his first country song, Son of a Sinner. It became his first #1 on country radio in 2023. Ernest and David Ray Stevens and he wrote the song together. It made it to the hot rock and alternative charts on Billboard. In 2022, he played to 15,000 people at Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, which was sold out. In 2023, he shared the stage with big names like Chris Young and Tech Nan. He got 3 CMT Music Awards, including Male Video of the Year, and his Backroad Baptism tour went to 44 cities. In June 2023, he put out his 9th record, Whitsett Chapel. In October 2024, he put out Beautifully Broken. He has even tried acting, as seen in his roles on Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. It was 2024 and Jelly Roll was a guest on Saturday Night Live. He sang songs from his upcoming album and a Johnny Cash medley with The Roots and Snoop Dogg. He worked with Eminem on the single Somebody Save Me and put out a song called Run It for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 album. In 2025, he worked on a rough version of Hard Fought Hallelujah with Christian artist Brandon Lake. Even though a wedding group called Jelly Roll sued him out of his name, the case was settled in the end. In his life, Jelly Roll has been through a lot. He has been in jail, been on the biggest stages in music, and been hurt. Early problems with the law. Jelly Roll's life didn't start out very well. His father sold meat and arranged bets, and his mother, who gave him the nickname Jelly, had a mental illness and was addicted to drugs. From the time he was a child, Jelly Roll thought that drug selling and addiction were normal. During an emotional interview with CBS News, he said, "I knew my dad took bets and my mom had too many drugs, so this is what you did to me." He never gave up music even when he was a teen selling drugs. In a clear voice, he remembered those times. "Hey, here's a bag of weed, a gram of coke, and a mixtape. Get what I mean? I also rap. It looked like my business card. Getting drugs was always a way for me to make songs." He went to jail for the first time when he was 14 years old and would be arrested about 40 times over the next 10 years. He was charged with drug possession, shoplifting, and aggravated theft. When he was 16, he was charged with the worst crime. He was charged as an adult with aggravated robbery with a firearm over weed when he was in jail. When he talked about that time with Billboard, he said, "I never want to forget that it was a horrible crime. This is an adult looking back at a 16-year-old who made the worst decision he could have ever made in life. People could have been hurt, but thank God no one was." He got 8 years in prison, but he only spent a little more than a year there. That felony marked him though, and Tennessee law won't let him vote or do some other things. Think about how you could change your life to afford the kind of house I was looking at in this neighborhood. He told Billboard, my money was wasted. I'm not wanted because of something I did almost 24 years ago. When Jelly Roll got out of jail in 2008, he found out he had a daughter named Bailey Ann. He met her when she was 2 years old and now raises her along with his wife Bunny and their other son Noah. In 2022, Jelly Roll gave more than $200,000 to the juvenile center where he had lived before to build a music studio for the kids who had been in trouble. Back in 2024, he went to the U.S. Senate and said, I was part of the problem. Personal life: Jelly Roll has been married to Alyssa Defford, also known as Bunny XO, since 2016. They have a strong relationship and even renewed their wedding vows in 2023 to honor their journey together. Jelly Roll also has a son and a daughter from previous relationships. He and Bunny share full custody of his daughter, who is very important to him in both his personal and professional life. When Jelly Roll was 39, his 14-year-old daughter told him she wanted to be baptized. At first he wasn't sure I would believe her. I should go check out what kind of cult she's going to, he said. I thought that too, because that's how I felt about church at that time. But what happened next changed him. He went to the service and was shocked by what he saw and heard. It made me think of how sincere people can be inside those walls. He said, seeing her and all of her friends there reminded me of the humanity, compassion, forgiveness, love, and community more than anything else. That experience renewed his faith. He knows he won't always look or act like a typical Christian, but his faith is real and strong. A little different from other people. I might dress it and I might say some things that other Christians don't think are right, he said. But in the end, I have a heart for God and a heart for Jesus. In 2024, Jelly Roll helped other people with his words and stories from his past. He spoke in favor of Senator Tim Scott's Fentanyl Eradication and Narcotics Deterrence (Fend-Off Fentanyl) Act in front of the U.S. Senate. Because he had a hard past, he didn't hold back. There was something wrong with me. So I'm here today as a man who wants to help, he told the group. I sucked up my neighborhood, I hurt people. The guy who couldn't read or write was in the kitchen trying out drugs he didn't know much about. The same thing that these drug sellers do now when they mix all the drugs they can find with fentanyl to kill the people we love. With his family, his music, and his message, Jelly Roll is determined to heal, help, and make a difference today. How to deal with drug abuse and getting sober. Jelly Roll isn't trying to hide his past. He's using it to light the way ahead. The country music star talked about his fight with addiction in an open and honest interview. He admitted that he used to think drinking was the only way to get better after cocaine binges. There was a time in his life when he used crack cocaine, went to jail, and did things he didn't recognize as habits. I had to learn how to drink all over again without doing drugs, he told People. Jelly Roll, who is now 39 years old, may not say he is completely sober, but he has found a fragile balance. He says that weed helps him deal with his nervousness and keeps him away from harder drugs. He told Taste of Country, marijuana has kept me sober. Without it, I'd be back to cocaine, Xanax, and codeine. He never went to rehab, but he goes to meetings when he needs to and goes out of his way to honor people who are fully recovered. Most of all, he's committed to being there for his kids in Congress and at abuse treatment centers. Everything changed when his daughter Bailey was born. It was like Saul becoming Paul, he said about his spiritual rebirth while he was in prison. With a CMA award and the fight against the fentanyl epidemic under his belt, Jelly Roll is turning tragedy into purpose. He told the Senate, I want to now be one of those who help end it. Accusations of Satanism. In 2023, Jelly Roll was at the center of some pretty crazy rumors. He sang Ozzy Osbourne's emotional ballad song Mama I'm Coming Home at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Some people on social media said he was a Satanist because of his tattoos, how he looked, and where the performance took place. The accusations hurt him, so he decided to take a break from social media for a while. I doubled down like a real thing, dumbass, he said on the Pat McAfee show later. What do you think? I'm leaving X. Y'all are mean to me, he said. Jelly Roll, who was never shy about his faith, felt hurt and misunderstood. Being a man of faith, I started getting pulled into strange things that made me feel strange, he said. I'm like, y'all don't know me if you think I'd even talk, he said, looking angry. Later he returned to social media, but he admitted that things had become toxic, especially on X, which used to be Twitter. This place is different, man, he wrote in a post. I always heard it was the Wild West on here, but man, it's insane. It's a safe place for everyone to be mean to each other with no consequences. I'm out, lol. X was also called the most harmful and bad app ever. But the rumors died down when Jelly Roll said something very strong about his religion. Satan runs away from the name I speak. He asked his enemy, do you understand what I'm saying? That's all I have to say. I only say one name and Satan leaves. Not caring if anyone touches my behind or if there is an Illuminati. Jelly Roll stayed true to who he is and what he believes, even though there was a lot of noise online. He said the claims were false and hurtful, but he didn't let them define him. Now he's slowly getting back into social media. I'm back on socials, well, I'm getting back, he said on the Pat McAfee show, showing that he's still being careful but won't let negativity stop him. One thing is clear, Jelly Roll isn't afraid to say what he thinks and won't let the internet control him. Lawsuit over stage name. In April 2024, country music star Jelly Roll was in a legal battle with a Pennsylvanian wedding band also named Jelly Roll. The wedding band said that the country singer's use of the name made it confusing for their business and that people were mistakenly thinking they were the famous musician, which cost them business and engagements. The case brings up an important part of the entertainment industry, trademark rights. A trademark is a name, logo, or symbol used for a brand. It protects companies by making sure that people don't mix them up with other companies that have similar names. The wedding band thought that Jelly Roll's rise to fame through his hit songs was making it harder for them to stand out and get bookings. Both sides are right, but the case does bring up an interesting question. Jelly Roll, whose real name is Jason Deford, has been performing as Jelly Roll for a number of years, long before he became famous in country music. On the other hand, the wedding band that has been playing for a number of years also wants to protect their reputation and brand name. In the film business, trademark disputes like this happen all the time. Many artists, bands, and businesses have had similar problems with name ownership and rights. Lawyers are usually the only ones who can figure out who should use the name in a certain industry or area. Depending on how the courts rule, this lawsuit could hurt Jelly Roll's career for a long time. It also shows how important it is for artists and businesses to protect their names and trademarks early on to avoid problems in the future. The case is still going on, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Problems with touring abroad. The Tennessee Board of Parole asked Governor Bill Lee to forgive country music artist Jelly Roll. When asked about his criminal past, Jelly Roll was honest. He wanted a clean slate so he could travel more easily and spread his message of hope and redemption. This was amazing, Jelly Roll said after the board's decision. I pray this passes, but today was special to me no matter what. The board's suggestion wasn't final. Governor Lee still had to sign off on it, but it was a big step forward. The hearing lasted almost 2 hours and had a lot of people speaking out for him, including Nashville Sheriff Darren Hall. One board member didn't vote, but everyone else did. Jelly Roll has changed his life despite his past. According to him, writing songs became therapeutic for him while he was in jail. Writing songs changed his life in ways he never thought possible and opened doors he never thought were possible, he told the board. He went on to become famous in country music with hits like Need a Favor and the album Whitsitt Chapel. He won many awards and was nominated for 4 Grammys. Jelly Roll wanted to perform in places like Canada, but his record made it hard for him to get there. It takes a team of lawyers and a mountain of paperwork to secure my entry into those countries, he said. God willing, I'll still be using this same pardon to go do missionary work in my 50s and 60s.
Governor Lee replied, "The coverage of Jelly Roll is good news for his case, but more needs to be done in that case." Jelly Roll didn't just want to go on tour, he said. "I want to be an inspiration for people who are now where I was once, to let them know that change is possible." There were emotional moments on stage. During his main stage performance at the CMA Festival, Jelly Roll brought a lot of emotions to the stage. The audience saw a real side of the country star as he talked about the hard road that got him to where he is now. He talked about his past struggles with drug addiction and time spent in jail, showing the audience how far he had come. As he stood under the bright lights and thousands of cheering fans, Jelly Roll broke down in tears. He told everyone that success isn't easy, especially if you've had a rough start. One of the most moving parts of the night was when Jelly Roll dedicated his heartfelt song "Son of a Sinner" to anyone who is stuck between doing good and doing bad in life. He said the song was for people who aren't sure what's right or wrong, and many people in the audience felt very strongly about that. He told them not to give up no matter how many mistakes they've made. His message was clear and strong: believe in the possibility of redemption and success even after past failures. Most of the people in the crowd were moved to tears by what he sang and said. Jelly Roll has long been admired for being honest about where he came from, a rough part of town, drug addiction and time in prison. Now he is using his heartache to give someone else a chance. This show wasn't about the music, it was about hope and second chances. Jelly Roll showed everyone that if they believe in themselves and fight for it, anything can change. That night it felt like it wasn't just a song, it was a letter to everyone who has been struggling and wanted to give up. At the end of his performance, the whole stadium clapped for his voice, his honesty, and his heart. Jelly Roll didn't perform, he gave away his soul, his advocacy, and his charity. In 2024, Jelly Roll did something brave by testifying before the U.S. Senate. He spoke in favor of anti-fentanyl legislation and used his own life to show how dangerous and deadly drug use can be. The experience was moving and powerful, and he didn't try to hide the mistakes he had made in the past. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid, has been linked to thousands of deaths from overdoses across the country. Jelly Roll knows this world well because he has been through addiction and the justice system himself, but today he's doing everything he can to make sure others don't fall into the same trap. Not only that, but Jelly Roll also paid for the opening of a music studio inside the Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center in Nashville. This is because he wants troubled teens to have the same chance to change their lives that he did. Jelly Roll's goal with the studio is to give kids a creative outlet and a reason to be there. They can learn, be themselves, and dream of a better future. By putting music first, the studio teaches kids that their opinions matter and that it's never too late to make a difference. Helper, guide, and supporter, this side of Jelly Roll shows how much he wants to lift others. He's not just singing about redemption and pain, he's living it and showing others how to do the same. Through his work in government and the community, Jelly Roll shows that real change starts with heart, honesty, and a little hope. There has been a big change in the health of country music artist Jelly Roll. He has lost almost 200 pounds since December 2022, going from weighing 540 pounds to 357 pounds. His next goal is to lose another 100 pounds to reach 250 pounds. This change isn't just about numbers on a scale, it's about taking back his life and inspiring other people. Every day, 4 to 6 days a week, Jelly Roll walks 2 to 3 miles, spends 20 to 30 minutes in the sauna, and takes a 6-minute cold plunge. These exercises have made a huge difference in his health. He has also made some impressive changes to his diet. With the help of nutrition coach Ian Larios, he eats a high-protein diet that includes dishes like a Waffle House-style breakfast bowl and dairy-free protein poutine. They are meant to be filling and healthy so he can enjoy comfort foods while staying on track. In addition to physical health, Jelly Roll stresses the importance of mental and emotional health. He talks openly about his food addiction and compares it to other serious addictions. He does this because he hopes it will help other people who are going through the same problems.